What's up, boopers? Welcome to the 4th episode of BDO Weekly. It is May 18th, 2016, and today we'll be talking about stuff that happened that you should know in the world of BDO recently. So let's get started. Boop. Starting with last week's patch notes, which I missed because I melted my hand, we had some significant changes to current in-play systems. Field bosses and world boss spawn timers were changed to increase their spawn rates by about 20%. Meaning field bosses now spawn about every 12 to 14 hours, and Kazarka spawns about 24 to 30 hours. This should help a lot with people on different schedules that repeatedly miss the spawns and therefore miss out on their loot. In addition to this, we are now able to name our horses with knowledge of what gender they are, reducing the amount of insults thrown at improperly named horses by their peers when they enter elementary school. No more boy horses named Ashley. In Korea, we got a new video released showing off some footage of what we can expect in upcoming Node Wars. The hype is building, and many NA and EU guilds are already preparing by forming rivalries and alliances for the upcoming onslaught. We'll finally have a better measure of EPs in BDO that doesn't involve ganking AFK auto loopers or grinding something 24/7 to appear on leaderboard. When it does finally come to NA and EU, we can hopefully expect to have a better balance and desync issues mostly resolved. Next, I want to touch on some hot controversy regarding the field boss drops and hackers and exploiters. While initially Dom did take the stance that hackers and exploiters that got caught would get either banned or temporarily banned and have their gear removed, several players that have been known to blatantly hack or exploit have been reportedly only temporarily banned and allowed to keep all of the gear they got while they did such bad things. Because of the current way that the loot works off of field bosses and world bosses, highest damage getting highest loot and highest chance at the rare drops, etc. This means that a player that hacks is guaranteed to get the loot. This stance that Dom has taken on hacking and exploiting currently incentivizes players to hack to do maximum damage on field bosses and Kazarka to get their loot, take the 3 to 7 day ban hit, then go back to playing without hacks with all of their best in slot gear. This is, in my opinion, a horrible stance, but let's look into the two roots of the problem. Now, the first root of the problem is the field bosses. These exist in our version to boost progression for NA and EU players, and it did that well, but why? Our region is seeing players all geared much faster than other regions where pry is simply expected because of boosted drop rates on rings and easily accessible Lavertos, tree belts, and marks, and now boss armor off of the field bosses. The reason is pretty obvious. We are receiving content at an accelerated rate, and in order for us to keep up with the content speed, we need a way to get gear faster than the other regions. We got media only a month after release, and soon Valencia about 3 months later. Additionally, the field bosses act as a replacement for many pay-to-win and PC cafe functions that exist in the other regions, allowing us to still get gear at a reasonable rate without these mechanics in our versions. The existence of field bosses isn't bad. Instead of grinding 20 hours for an item, you can track this boss spawn and just kill them once a day for an hour. They save you a lot of time somewhat, but their mechanics are extremely flawed in two ways. The first way they are flawed is the combat, and the second is the loot mechanics. For the combat, they just one-shot you and you lose XP and crystals. There's desync problems with their attacks, and they don't seem to care too much about DP. If they want to kill you, most of the time you die. Some attacks are avoidable, but some are not, and generally speaking it is very frustrating for melee classes. Many tinfoil hatters believe this is a way to force players to buy more Alien tiers. The other problem being the highest damage gets the loot. Now, what happened to RNG? The same players continuously get the best drops, and those are the players that are either hacking or already have the best drop. So the second root of the problem here stems from how easily the game is to hack, as too much information is managed client-side and needs to be reworked. At this time, I am a firm believer that you should permanently ban anyone who cheats. Let's be honest, when people decide to start hacking and exploiting, it's usually because they're already bored of the game anyway and just want to magically beat everyone without playing. So permabanning them doesn't really hurt the community. It hurts them more to not permaban them and let them come back after having benefited from their hacking. But to summarize, I feel that field bosses should be kept in the game, but their drops need to be made completely random, and that hackers should be permanently banned. Let me know in the comments how you guys feel about the hackers and field bosses below though. And with that, let's jump into the screenshots of the week. I picked out my 3 favorite from last week again, starting with Leap of Faith, submitted by Ventus Astro from the Eden server. Don't try this at home, kids. Then we've got the Dancing Flower, a beautifully angled photo of a plum, submitted by user Boba Blades. And lastly for this week, Superman, submitted by Vic Boss of the EU Jordan server. Thanks again for your submissions. I looked at all of them, including that one pic someone sent me of 2 horses humping. And I loved them all, minus the horse humping thing. And I look forward to more next week. Just keep sending them to domeran@mail.com. So next, let's talk about the patch notes and some upcoming announcements that we got today. We got an XP buff called the Road to Valencia that will increase the experience gained by 30% for the upcoming week. What this means is June 1st will be the official launch of the Valencia patch. What we will be getting is the Rosar and Rokaba armor sets. We will get the Giant Desert region, and we will be getting Node Wars. Now, Node Wars won't be enabled immediately, but we will be able to access them starting June 15th. This will start a trial period of Node Wars of 2 weeks where people can familiarize themselves with the system. Now, any results of any GVGs and Node Wars that happen during this time will be wiped, and once the trial period ends, the real stuff begins. And with Valencia, of course, comes the elephant and camel mounts. So really exciting, look forward to that. And with this patch today, they have added sharp and hard black stones into the game, but you cannot use them yet. What this means is you can start gathering anything in the game, and it will have a chance to give you a sharp or hard black stone, which will allow you to enchant above plus 16. Now we cannot enchant above plus 16 yet until June 1st, but we can stockpile them. And in the patch notes, it mentions that we can force enchant to plus 18, which is something new to our region that wasn't initially allowed in the Korean region, making it much easier for everybody to get to plus 18, taking out quite a bit of the RNG involved in the game. So lots of super exciting stuff, but that's it for this week. So tune in next time. For now, I am booping out. Boop.